episode 137, and welcome into the Benches Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants, who are about to win right now, and that's all we have to talk about.
And I'm David Contreras, representing the side of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have yet to lose since we last met each other, since we last talked, since we were last sitting here. They have yet to lose.
Yeah, so the last 2 days, we're in the same boat. Just two winning teams the past couple days. Oh, shit. Well, Camilo Val just gave up a 2-run homer, but it's okay. They're still up 2. No need to get upset. No need to get worried. But it's just two winning teams.
You're stressing. You're stressing over there. I can tell.
I'm not I feel like I'm stressing because now that we're like recording and it's on, I feel like we're setting up something. Usually when Camilo, like the other day, Camilo Duvall was like had the bases loaded or just like walked a couple guys. I didn't even worry. It didn't even stress me out, which is weird because usually I would stress out. But now that I feel like we're just cameras on, lights, camera, action, it's like setting up just a cry fest for me.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get it. It's all right. You'll survive.
Thank you. I appreciate your.
I mean, I hope he blows. I need him to give back-to-back home runs here.
Well, I appreciate your confidence, but you know what? Let's talk about these Dodgers and how they're just hating everybody. And why does Miguel Rojas hate the Marlins? What's his problem? Like, I don't get it. What's his deal?
I don't think he has any problem. I think he has a problem with, or some people might have problems with the way he likes to lead, being a leader. I don't think he's the one that has a problem. There might be a guy in the Marlins, like a center fielder out there.
Yeah, kind of the on the cover of video games, but has a terrible slash line.
Yeah. I guess his beef with him is that he was napping one day and Miguel Rojas didn't wake him up. You know, he saw him that he was sleeping. He didn't wake him up for the game. And, you know, what a terrible leader Miguel Rojas is for doing that. And you know, apparently he didn't wake them up this series because, you know, they got swept by the Dodgers. So somebody let them sleep.
Given to you. That one was given to you. Yeah, Giants won. Thank you for your confidence. But yeah, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, you should be awake. You're a freaking adult. Like, I 100% get that. But at the same time, I don't know. It's just me. Like, if you saw your guy asleep, wouldn't you hook him up, wake him up?
I think, okay, so if you're in the clubhouse and you see a Mookie or a Shohei asleep 15 minutes before the game, you either assume they're sick or something's wrong, or like, why would they be asleep? There's just no way. That's already ridiculous.
Guys nap, I think.
15 minutes before the game? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. Bad. But there's no way.
I know 15 minutes before. Yeah, I thought it was like before like a meeting or something.
Yeah, I guess there was just a lot of things they didn't like about each other, or they didn't click or something. I don't know. I mean, the Marlins with that leadership right now have won like 2 games the whole year. So,
right. Well, I have to be on Jazz Chisholm's side because, you know, anyone who's against the Dodgers is a fan has a fan in me. But I don't know. It turns out you just told me about this. I thought there was like some issues. He was talking shit to the dugout, but it was just turns out a nothing burger. So got everyone all excited for nothing. So thanks a lot, Miguel Rojas, for just being boring.
I mean, he's a bench player. He wasn't gonna be the main thing going into the series, but the thing you're talking about, he got a base hit, and it looked like he was jawing at the dugout. And
right.
So they try to make a big thing of it, and it turns out he clarified on Instagram saying he was just making fun of his homie's beard, supposedly. So, you know, take that as you may.
Supposedly. But I mean, it's crazy that we didn't open with this. I'm really sorry, but I guess Yamamoto carried a no-hitter really deep into the day. I mean, it was like what? Didn't give up a hit all day until like 6:40, right?
No. It was like 7:11 maybe.
7:11.
I mean, he woke up. It was a pretty it was pretty cool, man. He woke up, had breakfast, did whatever he had to do, Went to
No
the
hits.
ballpark,
No hits there.
got ready,
Didn't give up a
warmed up.
hit.
Still hadn't given up a hit to that point.
Not
To
one
that
hit.
point, there was no hit given. Pretty great analysis from the MLB Network on that one. And then,
Right.
then the first pitch thrown, unfortunately, the no hitter was gone. He gave up a bomb to
Mr. Marlin.
Mr. Marlin. Yeah,
He woke up 15 minutes before the game and hit a bomb.
he's like, hey, some people can do that, man. Some people can just wake up and they're in the zone. Like, let's go.
Wake
So
up to greatness. I
yeah,
fall asleep every like 10 minutes, so that's right up my alley. Um, I, I mean, this is also probably a nothing burger, but I just thought it was funny. Like, I don't know, to call out something, and I get it. Like, I think that there's been a lot more no hitters in baseball. I think because of a lot of teams are very walk or home run or strikeout type driven. So it's a lot more common nowadays. But I don't know, to fully call out something like that, I think is the ultimate jinx. It's just never going to happen. You're
well,
asking
definitely.
for a bad outing, but
It was
you end up
horrible.
squeaking through
First,
it.
first of all, it was the MLB Network. I forgot what his name was, but he's always
Greg
wrong.
Amsinger,
Yeah, he's always gets egg on his face with his predictions. And
except for
then
one. He predicted a Buster Posey walk-off home run one time, but after that, that's about it.
yeah, so I didn't even see it till like midway through the game, I think, or something. And then he said, I saw it. I'm like, what the heck is this? But anyways, he gives up a home run like right away and just jinxed. And I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. Now I know why he gave up that home run.
Trash, just as I thought. Trash.
Actually, but we'll get into that later. But yeah,
Yeah,
you get your
we're gonna
Yamamoto
get into
digs
the
in now because I
actions.
don't think you're gonna be able to get him in for a while.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's the best pitcher in the world if you only count certain starts. Remember that. Yeah, there's just a lot of things I think weird going on between our two teams. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to write about this this Giants team. There's a lot of bad things that you can write about. This offense, um, you know, except for the Rocky series because it's Coors Field, um, is non-existent. They, we'll get into a little bit later, but Matt Chapman, known for his defense, is the most errors in baseball. A lot of things that you
Ooh.
can write about if you're a writer. A lot of intricate things. There's someone who writes for SF Gate that shoot I should probably say his name, but I feel like it might not even be worth saying because this is just I feel like this is an embarrassment to writing. Um, he wrote a whole article about Blake Snell going back and forth with a New York fan on Twitter. Like I don't know how you can blow something up. I mean, Blake Snell wrote something on NYC Side Talks Twitter talking about he's a Knicks fan now because they were just going crazy. And they're just in the article, it's saying exactly word for word a random Yankees fan at Nick Boy KO17. Like when you're writing that in an article and you're trying to be a serious journalist, I feel like maybe you should just stop writing the article.
What do you
Maybe
mean?
call in a source.
You don't want to give a? I mean, we have Kendrick and Drake beef. We
Mm,
have
that's right.
we got beef all over the place. This guy just wants to show that there's beef on Twitter daily too.
Mm.
And it happens to be a guy that's playing Fortnite every day right now. So
Between two heavy hitters, a two Cy Young winner, and of course the famous Nick Boy KO17. I would
dude,
imagine it's
Nick
17
Boy
because he's
KO
17 years old.
17
Yeah,
is
like
pretty big.
I don't understand it. But he literally just goes back in. First of all, he writes for word the replies between Nick Boy 17 and Blake Snell, but then the commentary of let's see what he writes in here. The back and forth continue with two more rounds, with fan sharing plans to gamble against Snell, and then got bodied by fan in back-to-back replies. Like, who says that if you're a serious journalist? I know, yeah, I took a second to read that. I'm dyslexic. I'm kind of dumb. That's
Wait,
fine.
hold on. He wrote down all the tweets instead of like just putting screenshots of them, or like
100%. He said, I got a screenshot here and it says, the fan shares plans to gamble against Snell. Quote, can't wait to fade you next start, LOL. Snell replied, LOL, you ain't on the field, end quote. And then his commentary is, and then got bodied by a fan in back to back replies. This guy who's writing this article has to be 18 years old. Like I don't who says bodied in the actual article that you're trying to be serious about.
Yeah, but I mean, you're trying to shame the writer, but then you have Blake Snell just replying to the trolls.
But why not though? I mean I
See,
don't know
then
if
I
you're a
mean
writer,
that's
that's
the same
your
reason you
job.
write the article. Why not?
But
If it's
that's your
funny.
job. That's your job is to write serious articles and like to be a serious journalist. And you're talking about Twitter replies. I mean, I'm sorry if someone's talking shit to me on Twitter, you're probably gonna reply something back kind of funny if you got a little time. Blake Snell's on the IL. He's got some today. He got time, cuz.
Hey, do I want to read about how Blake Snell's starting to throw again and he'll throw from the mound in a couple of days, or do I want to
Yes.
read, hey, we're gonna bet on what you do next time and we got you and you just got bodied. I want to listen to that. I want to read that. Give me that.
Okay, maybe you do, all right? But anyone who's actually interested in this is gonna want to hear about Blake Snell throwing. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to take things too seriously. I don't know. I just feel like if you're writing an article and you're like an editor, I think I read that he was like an editor. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. Who knows? But
Hey,
motherfucker.
the funny thing is that he wrote it, somebody else saw it, somebody had to approve it, and it still went through, man.
Well, I think it's man. Now I gotta look it up. I'm pretty sure this guy said he's an article. He's an editor, so technically he doesn't have to run anything through
Okay, okay.
anything. He's El Capitan.
Well, then there you go. He can do whatever he wants.
I know. I just feel like I don't know, dude. I just feel like you could write about so many other shit. There's so many. It's not like there's a lack of things to write about base about what's going on with the Giants right now. That they're one of the top payrolls in baseball. Spent all this money on free agency, and they're 5 games under 500 and just got their ass kicked by the Phillies. You can shame them on that all day, but it's like I'm gonna talk about an injured pitcher talking
Yeah,
a
but
little
see,
shit on
look,
Twitter.
but here's the thing, man. Fans like you know their stuff already. Most even casual fans know how bad the team is playing or if they're not doing well. And so you already know that, but not everybody's on Twitter. So that's funny, man. If 80-year
But
old grandpa gets it and reads it, first of all, he won't know what it is, but it'll be funny.
but I just feel like if you are Alex Simon and you are the sports editor for SFK, I don't know, man. I just feel like maybe he was like, dang, I have to write an article today. Do I want to do research? Not really. Let me see what's going on Twitter. Oh, Blake Snell talked to Nick Boy 17. Gotta write about this. This is so much easier. I don't know.
You know what this sounded like? It sounded like it was due at 7 a.m. and he was like up till 3 and he didn't know what to write about. So he's scrolling on Twitter and then he's like, there's like a 200 word, that you have to put in there limit at least. And he's
Right,
like, you know
right.
what? I'm not going to put screenshots. I'm going to actually write down the tweets. That way I get even more words in there. And I
Okay.
think that's what happened, man.
That must be it.
It was a late assignment. Assignment.
Well, I'm
He almost
sorry,
missed it.
Alex Simon. I really doubt that you're over the age of 18. Um, I don't know, dude.
I mean, the
I don't know.
season must
Maybe
be
you just
going
want to
pretty
play in
bad
the.
if you're mad about the whatever these guys are writing.
I don't know. Like it was just like I saw it and I was like, am I in a freaking Twilight Zone right now? Am I crazy? There's an actual publication that's talking about Twitter replies versus I don't know. Maybe the fact that Blake Snell is getting paid 31 million a year, has a 12 ERA, and is injured right now. That's probably a more interesting article.
Sure, but he's like leveling up on Fortnite. So who's really losing? Like he's doing his thing.
I guess so. I don't know. Let's talk about this Giants team. I'm gonna go first because I'm already upset. I'm already a crybaby boy, and I'm
And
gonna
they
talk
just
about.
won. You're upset and they just won.
Well, yes, but if you go back to this week, they are. they're just a like at least this week. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go right now and just say they're just a bad team right now. Um, they're just leaps behind the Phillies, and the Phillies. And to say one thing, I feel like the Phillies are a little underrated. We talk about how all the Braves are always they're going to win that division. They're the best. If it's not the Dodgers, it's the Braves, the best team in baseball. Yada yada yada. I don't know, dude. The Phillies are pretty damn good, and
I feel like they're good, but I feel like it'll always come down to the bullpen. And I don't know. I think that their bullpens, as electric as they are, they can be very erratic, and it's
yeah,
happened in the playoffs. So
I feel like it was. I mean, I don't know. Giants' offense is pretty bad, but it looked very good. I know Nola and Wheeler went pretty. Well, actually, Nola didn't go pretty deep, but Wheeler went pretty deep. Um, Alvarado did give up a couple runs, but it didn't really matter because they were up by so much. Who
and
gives a shit?
you knew they were gonna get better, subtraction, addition by subtraction when they got rid of Kimbrel. When he was no
Yeah,
longer their closer, they got a little bit better.
right. And I don't know. I don't
I think he
know.
just blew another save today.
If you are if you're looking at the wild card, you're expecting the Phillies to have that top spot. And if you're expecting to compete with the Phillies, you're not even close right now. Um, and it's kind of hard because, I think you expect the lackluster offense from the Giants. It is a little weird to do it in a hitter's ballpark, but in a hitter's ballpark, you're scoring 3 runs, 4 runs, and 1 run. I mean, you have a chance maybe to win 2 games, maybe. And that's if your starting pitching is elite, which Giants starting pitching is elite, but they just didn't have it. I don't know what I don't know if it was conditions or what the deal is. I mean, Webb, Wynn, Hicks, they all got freaking pecker slapped. So and even Mason Black did. It is a little weird. I understand that the Giants have like 16 games in a row with no day off. Um, but Mason Black was at like a strict 70 pitch limit in AAA, but then goes over 70 pitches to face Bryce Harper and then gets rocked. I think he pitched a little better than a stat line. I think it goes. I mean, it says more about me that I think Giants starting pitchers in AAA should go deeper to get them ready for the big leagues. But if you're going to have them pitching 70 pitches, don't stretch them out when they're there. Maybe leave them the same, then try to build them up. I don't know. Am I crazy? Maybe I am.
Hey man, they gave you what you wanted. Last time we were here, you're talking about how you wanted them to bring up the young guns. So they brought them
I
up
do.
and they let them pitch. So, but I mean, you just ran into a real. It's already a good team, and then they're just really hot right now. They can do no wrong. So
Yeah, no, I wanted him to come up. My thing is, if you're going to have him in AAA pitching a certain amount, because you want to like not have him to go over 70 pitches, his first time in the big leagues, why would you have him go over that?
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe
wouldn't
you
you want to
figure
condition
the
him to get used to pitch to get used to pitching later, like deeper in the game, to pitch more pitches before bringing him up?
maybe, but I mean, you also got to see what this kid can do, and maybe he thought maybe the adrenaline will get him past this at bat.
Oh
Um,
man, but if you
you
don't
know,
trust him to do it in AAA, why do it to Bryce Harper, who's one of the best hitters in baseball?
I mean, it is pretty. It's Bob Melvin, dude. I don't know.
I don't know.
So
It is pretty hindsight too. I mean, I'm always one that's like, oh, leave him in. But I don't know. It's rough to do in that ballpark. I mean, they were just mountains miles ahead of them.
hey, but
Phillies looked
what
way
were
better.
there two outs in that instance? I don't know the context of the at bat. Was there two outs?
That's a good question. I don't remember how many outs there were. I could look it up, but I don't remember how many outs there were. There were 2 runners on base, I believe. Um, so that could be a good argument, but I don't
Because
know.
I'm
Maybe that's
just
just me being nitpicky. Who
if he
knows?
gets out of that, if he pitches well and he gets out of it, he gets Bryce Harper out. Are you praising Melvin for leaving him in? Or are you still like, hey, that
I'm
was
praising
sketch?
Mason Black for getting him out. My critique is more the way the Giants bring up pitching in AAA is they have them like pitch like 3 innings, 4 innings, at max 5. So then when you bring them up and then you got them, you know, going
Stretching him
over
out.
what they
Yeah.
usually do, that's where it's a problem, you know. And I get you got to build up for the season, you got to build, but it's like, well, yeah, we're already, 40 games in with AAA. It's probably like 30 games, but still,
Yeah.
it should be at least a little more built up. And if you want him to go 80, 90, 100 pitches, then do that in AAA too. That's my
Yeah.
argument.
No, I get it. I just didn't know the context of that. But yeah, I understand.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Oh well.
Bullshit. I don't
Womp
know. Maybe
womp.
I'm just crying just because they sucked against the Phillies. That's pretty much
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. I don't know what that's like. At least not this week. I don't know what that's like.
All right, let's hear about it. What do they do against the Marlins, Dave?
Well, we played the Braves first, the best team
Oh,
in the
that's right.
NL. I mean, in the National League, they're going to take it all the way, this, that, and the other. And we swept them. Dodgers swept them. They they got a great performance from Glass now. Pitched really well. Paxton pitched really well. I forgot who was the first one who started the series, but yeah, our starting pitching has been top notch so far. They're like fourth in ERA overall in the majors. They've gone at least six or more, not counting Bueller who came back versus the Marlins, which they also swept. They finished the sweep today. So it's an embarrassment of riches so far with the pitching, and this is not counting Bobby Miller coming back or Clayton Kershaw coming back. So yeah, it's all coming up gravy. And the bullpen, even though they're missing pieces like Kelly, Phillips, who went down with the he got his cleats stuck in the grass pregame. So he got a hamstring strain or something like that. But hopefully it's just a small stand and he'll be back. But even with that, man, they're rolling right now. And it's the offense clicking. Gavin Lux hit his first home run of the year. So, I mean, there's not much to complain about right now in Dodgerland. Except maybe the fact that they have an off day tomorrow, and I will have anything to watch.
Yeah, maybe they could just, if they take their off day, they're gonna, because the Dodgers always complain about getting rest. That's why they can't hit. Maybe they'll come back and they won't hit because they have too much rest for a full day. Yeah, I think that's where it gets to a point like when you look from, in the Dodgers perspective, where it's like they're facing the Braves. Hey, let's see where we are, and then you sweep the Braves, and then we're supposed to try to be competing for a playoff spot. We go to the top wild card contender, and not only do we get swept, but we get a 4 game sweeper, and none of those games looked good except for game one. They got a 2-0 lead, and then it was downhill from there. So
I mean, and I know everybody says it's early, but like these matchups really don't mean anything. Both teams that play between the Dodgers and Braves, both teams lost. Both teams, choked it in the first round versus inferior opponents, we could
right,
say.
right.
Um, but so it doesn't really matter. You just got to get in there, but you just want to be playing good baseball, man.
Yeah, and that's the problem. They did do something that I did like. They said fuck it to the trying to reserve the 40-man spots, and they went for the win. They brought up Mason Black. They told Dalton, they DFA'd Dalton Jeffries. The thing that I was crying about all last week. So you go for the win, and I get it, but it's also, I don't know, man. This offense is just not clicking unless they're at Coors Field. So, um, talking about that in Coors Field, um, they need to sweep to even, I guess, to not bury themselves even further. Like this is a time you need to try to make some ground up. I mean, you're now, what is it, 4 games under 500. You need to win tomorrow to sweep the Rockies to kind of be respectable. I mean, your schedule doesn't get a whole lot easier. You got the Reds, which they're kind of not really doing that great this year, and then you got the big bad Dodgers who are coming into town. So I mean, you got to really beat up on teams like the Rockies if you're gonna you know get your ass beat by the Phillies, and hopefully not get your ass beat by the Dodgers coming up. You're gonna have to do things like sweep the Reds if you want to be in conversation with playoff contention to trade for people. Because right now, I mean, if this is trade deadline time, I don't see why you would add to this team. There's why would you add to it? Yeah, I would trade away assets and try to get something back at this point.
Man, you're waving the white flag already, huh?
No, no, no. I'm saying if they continue this way, like something's got to turn. Like if this was July and they got their ass kicked by Philadelphia and they're 5 games under 500, at that point you got to wave. You got to trade away guys and you got to see what's going on. What I don't want to happen is the thing that happens every single year where they do nothing because a team like the Twins will go on a 12 game win streak and they'll say, "Hey, all we got to do is we just got one good run in us and we're back in this thing." But if you don't have one good run in you so far, what makes you think you're going to go on one now? And then you just waste the season. You waste away draft pick signing guys to suck. And then when you're done and you have an ability to get some of those assets back, you just do nothing. It's insane. I just don't want to hear that this year. I don't want to hear we're one good week away, and I know we're gonna fucking hear it.
You are one good week away, man. Keeping the season alive. One good week away.
Now that is actually true, but you can't bake on a good week if you haven't had a good week in a while. So,
what I don't even know the standings right now. I know we're up, quite a few, but I don't know the okay. I mean, you guys are already almost close to double digits behind us, so it's
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of a given. Like, of course, you always want to win the division, blah, 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 but we all knew, like we said last week when we were talking about giving away games, the Dodgers can afford to give away games because they're probably going to win the division by double digits. So if they give away 5 games, just trying to see if a veteran can get through something, or trying out a rookie to see if he's ready for the big leagues yet, and they give away 5 games, so they win the division by 10 instead of 15. Who cares? Giants can't give away shit.
You have a smaller margin for error. I get, yeah,
Exactly.
I get it.
You got to
Yeah,
scratch and claw.
yeah.
So
But I mean, you're not. I mean, it's very early, but you're
no,
only 2 games out of the wild card right now.
it's very early. But what I'm saying is you have the chance to turn around slowly but surely now. If you
Yeah, you
keep
just want to
digging
see
yourself
them.
in this hole, where are you going to go from here? You're going to turn around in fucking July, August?
Yeah, yeah, and then I mean, on the opposite side, for us, we're like on a hot streak, but you don't want to just burn out quickly because then you're like, hey, we're later on in the season, like, where's that team? What happened to that? So yeah,
Well,
you
it's
just
like,
got to keep a level head because it's going to be a long season.
yeah, you got to lose at some point. If you just keep on winning, that's when you get your ass swept in the playoffs because you got to lose eventually. So
Yeah, exactly. It averages out eventually.
I honestly would rather the Dodgers sweep one more series, whatever series they're about to play, because that means they're so hot going into that Giants series that they're bound to get cold. I know that
I
sounds
don't,
really stupid, but my baseball mind, that's exactly.
I don't, I don't even know who we're playing next. I don't know how relevant they are. Um, I think we're staying close to home. I'm not sure who it is.
Padres?
Yeah, it's some 500 club, I think. Yeah, the Padres. You heard of those guys?
The of San Diego.
The Santiago, or as Ron Burgundy very eloquently said it before, it translates to whale's vagina.
Amen.
So we'll be in a whale's vagina starting Friday. Start that
You'll be
series.
in the whale's vagina, or is the whale vagina coming to you?
No, no, no.
It's a
We're gonna
big
be in it.
difference. You're going to be all up in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna be all up in it.
Well, who cares about them? I mean, you know what's worse to say about that is the fact that I think they're above us in the standings. Yeah, they are 2 games above us. So that's how bad we're doing.
Yeah, I. You talk about Twitter, but that's what these games are like. Right now, they're not. They don't mean much, at least not to the Dodgers. If they win, the fans can talk crap, but if they lose, then the other talk. But yeah, it's
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 almost
not
like
it's not our World Series.
it's everybody's World Series. Okay.
Yeah, and not ours. So
Yeah. So,
I just
but
hope the Dodgers don't play down to the competition. That's all.
yeah, who knows? Who knows? I think we should talk. We should do maybe we should do injury updates first. Why not? Anyone going to the IL or coming back this week, Dave?
We had both actually. We had like I said,
Usually how it works.
Phillips, he got our closer, he got injured. Freak
Hmm.
accident apparently, he was warming up. Spike gets caught in the grass and he had a hamstring strain or something like
It's
that. So
very
he goes
Aubrey
down
Huff
for
of him.
15 days.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then we had the return of Walker Bueller, man. Jesus, 2 years finally get to see him pitch. I was actually there for the game. So it
Mm.
was cool to see him back in action. But somebody had to go down and it was Joe Kelly. So and apparently it's not too bad either. He should be it doesn't seem like it's too bad. Again, they never tell us the truth, so we can't really bank on it.
Right.
You know, every time they say it's not bad, they end up having surgery. So we
Right.
don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was fun to see them. And then Blake Trinan, man, America, he's back. The
Mm.
one, the only, the Patriot. And he was throwing those frisbee sliders, man, getting some people out. So he looks
This is
good.
my town, not yours.
That's right. So yeah, we had a couple of pitchers come back and a couple go on the IL. What about you?
Um, just I mean, there's always the roster churn. They'll bring up and tear down guys. Landon Roop goes down, and Sean Jelly comes back, and all that kind of stuff. Which actually, kind of minor note, Sean Jelly did come back last week, and he actually looks very good. To a bullpen that's kind of hasn't really found its way yet. Sean Jelly looks very good. I'm actually pretty excited about him. But Luke Jackson came back, still looks pretty shaky. Don't know what's going on with him. This is supposed to be a second year from Tommy John, so he's supposed to be that guy right now, and he ain't that guy. Um,
What
but
happened with your
mainly,
catchers?
yes,
I heard they
mainly
got bumped a couple times.
that is definitely probably the biggest story of our week. But really quick, I'm just going to mention Jorge Soler. Something going on with his shoulder. He goes to the IL. Heliot Ramos comes up and gets a hit. I'm a really big Heliot Ramos fan, so I'm really rooting for him. Um, you know, still a super young kid, 24 years old. He can find his way this year or next year, still be super young, and be a good major league player. But yes, it is mounds difference watching Patrick Bailey behind the plate and watching Blake Sable behind the plate, which I was thinking before the game today, because actually Blake Sable had a pretty bad pass ball that cost the Giants a run. I mean, it didn't really end up meaning anything, but still, I was gonna say Blake Sable looks a lot better this year than he did last year. Take that for what it's worth, but I mean, I don't think you notice a good pitch framer too much until you see a not good pitch framer and the calls he doesn't get that he doesn't get for his pitchers that he should get. So I mean, just the flow of the game is different. I mean, it is mounds different when Patrick Bailey's not in there. But then you think, okay, you know what? Maybe Tom Murphy he can just get something going. He's the backup catchers here. Get him some at bats, maybe get his back going a little bit because he has been so slow. Um, but literally 1 inning later, he gets injured, and you got a situation where Blake Sables is going to be the everyday catcher, and you got Jackson Reitz coming up, who is kind of like a AAA journeyman. And I mean, he did have a home run in Philly. Hopefully, it's going to be a short lived thing, or maybe he gets hot. Who knows? Maybe he becomes, when Austin Wynn first came up with us, he had this little hot streak. Maybe he can ride that a little bit, but I don't know, man. It's the catching position was pretty rough for a couple years, and then we got our guy, and then our backup situation's all fucked. So yeah, need Patrick Bailey back yesterday. So it's concussion IL, and he's feeling better. But I knock on wood. There's always that concussion IL thing where it's like, they'll rush him back, and then it's like, oh, he came back too early. He's actually feeling it again. Then he's out for a much longer time. So um, let's just hope that it's a comes back at the right time, I guess, and he comes back as soon as possible. But don't rush the dude. Let's do the right thing, huh?
Yeah, the Dodgers had a similar thing with Will Smith a year ago, I think. So yeah, it's pretty rough. They had a scare during the Brave series when Osuna, with that classic long swing, he hit Barnes. He
Oh
actually
yeah.
caught him at the back end of the swing. So yeah, it's pretty scary as a catcher, man.
Right. And I think we just stumbled onto a topic, right? Because the Wilson Contreras thing.
Yeah.
Um, I always was kind of like, oh man, the hitter's kind of fucked up, dude. Like that's, it was kind of like, when the Will Smith thing happened, you're like, it's probably Osuna's fault, maybe because Osuna's probably not the best guy in the world. But, and then you look at JD Martinez, you're like, oh, that guy's messed up. But then you found out that they're telling catchers to scoot up more to try to get lower strike, get those lower strikes. That seems like it's kind of on the catcher. I mean, if you're in the box and at least on the line, I don't know. I feel like that's your space at that point.
Well, yeah, you're probably right. But then they should also call it fair. And if it's his fault, then the batter has to be inside the line. You know, most of the time the line gets blurred and they're not nearly close to the line. They're
Yeah.
away from. I know Osuna's like back in the box and close to that line, but there was
Right.
a picture of Martinez where he was behind the line. So he's
Right.
done that a couple of times. So, but yeah, I think the club asking him to go up there to steal more strikes, and then this happens is such a bad look because he's
Right.
gone. What has he gone for like at least half of the year, right? Or for a while.
Yeah, at least. I mean, I would imagine that's probably possible not coming back the whole year. So,
Yeah. So
maybe even having to come back in a DH role, which a lot of teams use that for other things. So, and as we found out, catchers are not exactly the easiest replaced position in baseball.
no, if you have a good one, and the Cardinals did with Contreras, if you have a good one
Right.
like that, you got to protect them because they get
Right.
banged up as it is. So to put them in even a more dangerous spot, that's a rough look. So
And I mean, I know this is yeah, people are gonna say hindsight 2020. That's why I was like, why did we sign Tom Murphy type deal? When we have Joey Bart, he could back up. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I was also saying it's not my money, 3.5 million. There's probably not that much of a difference. But when you got a young guy versus a guy who's in the back end of his career who's more susceptible to injuries, injuries are a freak thing. I get it. I don't know. I just thought Joey Bart and Patrick Bailey could be, good thing together. Tom Murphy's not exactly known for his defense, so
yeah, it makes
you
sense.
need
I
that.
mean, in a perfect world, you do want the veteran catcher to be helping the younger one, but I mean, if he gets hurt, then you're stuck with the veteran guy playing every day.
Yeah, but I feel like in this instance, your younger catcher is a better defensive catcher than Tom Murphy. So I'm not sure
Yeah,
what kind of veteran wisdom he can put upon him. I feel like he can learn things on pitch framing and taking control of a rotation from Patrick Bailey versus Tom Murphy. I don't know. I'm also not a scout. Whatever. I get
yeah.
just that's what makes the most sense to me.
And
Um,
is Joey Bart doing good, or is he coming back down to earth after his one home run?
he's came back to earth. I mean, he's always had that potential of being that guy. I think he had a lot of opportunity to be that guy, and he's shown that he isn't, and he is like now in his late 20s. So I don't think he was ever going to be that guy, but I think he'd be. I think he's a very serviceable backup. I don't that's why I was shocked when they signed Tom Murphy. It was kind of like, well, what are we doing here? Unless, and that's why I was like, maybe Joey Bart has this value because the catching position, whatever, whatever, and you have your eye on somebody. That's what made the most sense to me. Like if you can sign Tom Murphy, and there's this relief prospect that you're gonna, be able to get for Joey Bart that you really like, or something like that. That then I would understand, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It just felt like you were signing an older Joey Bart, maybe a better, proven, more of a proven bat, but it's like you're signing kind of like an older, you know, an older catcher who's, the catcher. I mean, Joey Bart is decent defensively. I don't think he's turning any heads, but he's not exactly a liability either. I think he's a liability. He could be a very, very big liability on the offensive side because he strikes out a lot, but so does Tom Murphy. So that's why I'm very shocked. He had a lot of home runs like 3 years ago, so a little shocking, but whatever. Tom Murphy's going to come back and hit the shit out of the ball, so that's the good
yeah,
news.
sure, sure.
hmm
He
So
probably does it against the Dodgers too, of all people, just because
that
they
would be
mocked them.
amazing. That
Yeah.
would be amazing. But let's look to the future. Actually, I'm dumb because I'm skipping ahead. We're not looking in the future. We're staying in the past where things are safe and we know what's going to happen. Let's talk studs and duds, Dave.
Studs and
Um,
duds.
I want to let me hear your dud so I can get out of my depressed state, please.
Oh, damn. You're gonna be pretty disappointed, man. I'm the dud is gonna be the scheduler because we don't have a game tomorrow, and I'm gonna be freaking bored.
Everyone's hitting. You're telling me Chris Taylor's hitting, or you just don't want to give it to Chris Taylor again?
I'm not giving it to Chris Taylor. The poor guy can't even, get any playing time anymore. So,
He's not in enough to get a
he's
dud.
not in enough to be even considered a dud right now. So
Your
I got
your
nobody
your
in my
dud is
dud
the
wank this week.
grass.
At least I'll pass.
Your dud is the grass that hurt Evan Phillips.
Yes, the groundskeeper, whatever he did, man.
Well, we can talk about my dud. There's a lot of them this week, but I gotta go. I gotta go. A guy who's hitting in the heart of this lineup. It's got to be Matt Chapman. I'm
Matty
gonna give
Chaps.
Matt. He is so fun to watch on the defensive end, but two butts. One butt. His offense has been atrocious this year. This week hitting 120, um, striking out 10 times this week at 25 at bats. 10 times. It's over a third if you know how to do simple first grade math, which
Which
I
neither
do
of us do.
sometimes. But very good defensively, right? Range is out of control, makes really good plays, but he's had a problem with some errors. Has the most errors in baseball. I know errors aren't a complete tell of how someone's playing defense. I 100% get it. But if you're like having this shitty of an offensive season and you're known as the glove guy, I'm not sure you can handle having this many errors as well. So Chappie, just tighten the screws, man. Tighten the
Listen,
screws,
man,
make some good plays.
don't worry, man. In about what, 3 days? When I count tomorrow, so 4 days, you get to see a real third baseman, a guy who actually can catch the ball and he can hit it out of the park, and he'll tell your pitcher to go get it out of the ocean. You'll get to see Max Muncy, baby, your
Max
owner,
was,
the owner of the Giants. You get to see him. Don't
yeah,
worry about it.
yeah, and he does even way he does way more damage in Oracle than he does at Dodger Stadium, which is saying a lot. He does a lot of Dodger damage at Dodger Stadium against the Giants. So yeah, I want to talk shit because he sucks defensively, but yeah, I guess I can't talk
Let's move
about it
on to
follow
better
that way.
things. Let's move on to happy things. Who's
Okay.
your stud of the week?
Stud. I knew he was going to turn it up, all right? He's looking good defensively. He's looking good to being back there offensively. It's Tyler Estrada. Hit 310 this week. Hit a bomb. OPS of 916. Sorry, 816. Way different, but still very good. So,
All
love the
right,
guy.
cool.
Tyro my gyro. All right?
I wrote you
Not much
guys.
to say
Okay,
about it.
can I
He
go? Can
started
I go
off
with
really
my
slow,
stud?
so it's. Let me just talk for another hour about Tyro Estrada, and then maybe you'll get like 10 seconds. 'Cause
I'll
I'm
get the crumbs
so
at the end. I'll get
yeah,
you start playing the Oscar music because there's so many studs that
yeah,
you'll just have to
exactly.
cut me
Fucking
out,
a.
cut me off. No, no, no. I'm gonna go with the guy that everybody gave up on after one inning of watching him play pitch in the majors. He was a bust. How can they pay him? He's never pitched in the majors. What are the Dodgers doing? And then Yamanasty decided to shut everybody up by just being
Yamanono.
Yamanono. In his last three starts, dude, he's gone at least 6 innings. He's given up only 2 runs. He went 8 innings last night, career high. Gave up 2 runs. His ERA is down to 2.79. He's a stud, man, and he's only getting better. So, for all those people that doubted him, all those people that wanted to clown on him after one inning, yeah, where are you now? Where are you now?
I
Pretty quiet.
am. I am right here.
Unfortunately, because you have to be, or else you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Of
But
course.
yeah,
Fuck Yamamoto. All right.
he's been great. So
Fuck that
props
guy.
to
You can quote
Yamamoto.
me on that. Um. Yeah. I mean, what can you do? I mean, we've talked a lot about Yamamoto and Jung Hoo Lee, how they're probably going to take some time to adjust. And honestly, I think it's hard to adjust on the offensive side than, the pitching side of the ball. So I think we're seeing that right now. Um, I think it's normal. I think everyone knew that Yamamoto was at least going to be good.
Oh,
Um,
everybody knew that now, huh?
I
Nobody,
think
nobody wanted to
so.
say it. Everybody said he
I think
wasn't going to be
so.
good.
Well, the thing is when he's like, for instance, I think everyone knows that Blake Snell at the end of the year is going to be at least good. Maybe he might not turn up to where it's Cy Young level, but
Yeah,
he's
but
going to turn up and he's going to be good.
but he's a
But he started off
notorious slow starter anyways.
exactly, and I feel like when guys coming from Japan, it's going to take him a little time to adjust, and I think everyone knew that he was going to be at least good. You
Yeah,
know,
but
um,
because it's the Dodgers, everybody hates on them. I guarantee that Roki Sasaki to
everyone
next year,
hates on him.
if he
Everyone hates
doesn't,
on everybody, though. I mean,
it,
you're sounding very Mookie right now. You're sounding very everyone. This is everyone's World Series
hey,
right now.
I've said
Everyone
it
hates on
numerous
everybody.
times. I've said it numerous times on this podcast. I like Lee. I think he's fun.
Yeah,
I think
right.
I like him. So I'm rooting for him to be good when he's not playing the Dodgers.
Okay.
There's none of that when it comes to Yamamoto. People, just because Otani signed, they just want the worst.
I think maybe you're looking just at what's on your comments because there's a lot of Padres fans in your comments just talking shit. I think there's a lot of people who want Yamamoto to be good. I think not a lot of those people that aren't Dodger fans that live in California. Period. Yeah, because they hate the Dodgers. So I mean, if I don't know, I think there's a
I
lot of
just
people who want Yamamoto
maybe
to be
you're right.
good, but
Yeah, maybe
there's
you're
a
right
lot of
about the
people who want
comments
him to
and
be
stuff.
bad,
Yeah, I think maybe you're right about the comments stuff. But I think
and I'm one of
if
them.
Sasaki comes in next year and he's, I don't know, Padres or the Mets or any, nah, probably not the Mets, but somebody like, I don't know, somebody likable like the Orioles or I don't know. I
Right,
bet you they root for him 1,000 times more than if he went to the Yankees or the Dodgers or you know.
100%, hundred
So
percent.
there is some of that, but so Yamamoto was getting some unnecessary hate. This guy's still 25 years old, but he's already showing glimpses of what he can be. So I'm
Right, but
glad
if
he's doing that.
if you pick for the bad guys, which if you're a team with a lot of success, a lot of outside teams aren't going to like you. That kind of comes with the territory that people want to see you
Yeah,
fail.
true. It's crazy how
You're
like
also you in a way. I don't I I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say this, but I feel like this is the reason. I feel like it seems like people are taking you're taking a shortcut in a way because you're not like building with a team. You're joining a team that's already very good. Um, so maybe that's what it is. Like people want to see him fail. Like because if he signed with the Orioles last year or even the Orioles this year, I think he would be celebrated and it would be all this stuff. But if you're with a team if he would have signed with the Braves, if he would have signed with the Yankees, teams that are just like up there all the time that are always in the play, I think it would have been like, oh, fuck this guy.
yeah, but you also want to go somewhere where you have a chance to win, right? You
Yeah,
don't want to be like,
I don't blame him for making that choice. I'm just saying that also there's positives and negatives with everything. You go to a team like the Dodgers who are pretty much cemented in to go to the playoffs every year. Um, you know, it can be kind of seen that way.
maybe. But then again,
Definitely.
like, if you want to blame it like that, then you get your owners, you go credit your owners for them to spend, and then they could be like the
100%.
Dolphins. So,
100%.
because the Orioles for a while just refused to sign anybody, even though they needed pitching. And finally they
And
traded for Burns, but I mean, it just seemed
they
like they
kind
weren't
of
going to do anything for the offseason.
they're kind of still there. I mean, yeah, they did really good on their scouting and their developing, but they don't have a big signing right now. So they're still there. I think that the Astros were there for a while too, but then now they started paying people. They paid Altuve and all that kind of stuff. It's just going to be if the Orioles are going to start signing their guys and maybe getting a couple outside guys.
Yeah, and then you take those chances, and there's a chance, I mean, that's another thing. They take chances on these guys, and they may not work out. Like, look at Hader.
Like
He was
Blake
supposed to be the
Snell.
number one closer, and he has struggled mightily with the
Right.
Astros. So it's not like you pay them, it's going to work out. So
That's because Hater's a bitch. You can quote me on that.
I mean,
I also
Snell's
kind of
already
feel
hurt.
I also kind of feel bad a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, because Hater said is hated for um saying a lot of homophobic shit on Twitter. But if I'm not mistaken, he was like 13, which isn't an excuse to like say that it's okay.
No, he was a
But it's
teenager.
but
I don't
like
think he was
yeah,
that
I
young.
don't know. I'm pretty. That's 13 is a teenager. I'm pretty sure he was 13. But even
Well,
if it's like
I thought it was a little bit old.
15,
I think okay.
even if if I'm not mistaken, if it is older, like 18, 19, 20, you know, strike this part from the podcast, right? But if
Yeah.
he's like 13, I'm not saying that hey, it should be like nothing and that maybe he should definitely be checked on it. But I don't know. I I don't really want to get like too far into it, but like little privileged kid at 13, they have the luxury of saying stuff like that, and not realizing,
Hey,
the gravity of certain things.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know what
it
I mean?
wasn't.
And you probably
Yeah.
deserve to get like a backhand and a slap, but like I don't know. If you're 13, just write it off.
Well, we'll check how old he was because I don't think it was that young. I think he was in
Okay.
college, but I'm not sure. But
Oh, if it was college, strike what I said. Forget it. But I
what
thought it was like 13 or 14 or
yeah,
something like that.
what ticked me off was that yeah, there were old tweets, right?
Right.
But then John Heyman was like, "Oh, such a like encouraging story that he comes back from this," and then they gave him a standing ovation. I'm like, for what is going on? And ever since then, I decided I'm just gonna hate this guy no matter where he goes.
Yeah, maybe I may be misremembering shit. Maybe I do not remember that. That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
the home crowd and the Bruce gave him a standing ovation when he came. I'm like, what
That's
in the
hilarious.
white is going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, if you say something when you're that young, you should be like, dude, I was a 13-year-old. That was so fucking stupid for me to say, and then it should be forgotten. Like,
Yeah.
you
He's
know,
like,
like,
oh, look
dude,
how
you were
courageous
13,
this guy's coming back. For
but like
what?
courageous. like, it's like the Eloy Jimenez thing where like he was injured and
They
they
were
were
holding
acting
his
like he freaking
jersey.
died and shit. Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
That was
What a
hilarious.
hero! What a hero to
It was
apologize for homophobic tweets.
it wasn't even an opening series or anything for Eloy Jimenez, right? It was just like a regular trip to Anaheim.
I
And
think
they were holding
so.
his
If I'm
jersey
not
up.
remembering, yeah, that was good times.
Oh man.
But yeah, next week. Enough about homophobic tweets, huh?
Yeah, enough
Um,
about that.
Next week, Giants
look
are
on
playing
to
the
the future.
Reds and the Dodgers. We're going to be cooking something up. We might be doing a live pod next week. Still kind of talking about it in the works. If we can make it, we'll be posting about it. If not, we'll just be here on a Thursday when it gets posted. Sorry, really late on Wednesday, whatever. But if not, who knows? Come hang out on the live on Wednesday and see me cry, see me celebrate. Who knows what we're gonna do?
And just see me laugh if we win or see me just dip early if we lose.
Must slash your fucking tires, dude.
God.
Oh, what happened? I don't know how that happened. That's crazy.
Hey, now you can't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the Padres and then we got the big bad Giants. So should be a fun week. Some pretty cool games.
Michael Conforto and the G-Men, as Apple TV called it.
Yeah. So yeah, join us next week. See how those games turn out. See what we got to say.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform, as well as YouTube, Instagram Benches Cleared Podcast, Twitter Benches Cleared Pete, and TikTok Benches Cleared. And we'll see you next week at some point, right?
Thank you for listening, and yeah, we'll see you next week.